The night Ekenma chose kindness, she didn't know she was saving a prince. She was coming back from the stream with a clay pot balanced on her head. The moon was bright, but the footpath was still dark in places. Dry leaves cracked under her feet, and the night air felt cold on her sweaty skin. Then she heard it, running. Fast footsteps, angry shouts, the sharp sound of metal clashing. "Catch him!" a man screamed. Ekenma froze. Her hands tightened on the pot. A figure burst out from the bushes and almost crashed into her. It was a young man, tall and strong, but his clothes were torn and his chest rose and fell like he had been running for hours. A dark stain spread on the side of his cloth. Blood. He grabbed her wrist, eyes wild with fear. "Please," he whispered. "Hide me. I beg you." Ekenma's heart jumped hard. Her mind warned her, "Run, this is danger." But her eyes moved to his wound again, and her chest tightened with pity. Behind them, torchlight flashed between the trees. She didn't think. She just acted. Ekenma pulled the man off the path and pushed him behind a thick banana plant. Then she walked back to the road, adjusting the pot on her head like nothing happened. The guards arrived in seconds. They carried torches and cutlasses. Their eyes were sharp. The leader pointed at Ekenma. "Girl, did you see someone run through here?" Ekenma's throat went dry. She could hear her own breathing. She shook her head slowly. "No, sir." The leader stepped closer. "Don't lie to me." Ekenma lowered her eyes respectfully. "I'm not lying. I was coming from the stream." A dog sniffed around. It moved toward the banana plant. Ekenma felt her stomach twist. She held her breath. The dog sniffed, sneezed, and turned away. The leader spat on the ground. "Search the other path." They ran off, their torchlight fading into the darkness. Ekenma stood still until the night became quiet again. The man stepped out slowly. He looked at her like he couldn't believe what she had done. "You saved my life," he said, voice low. Ekenma swallowed. "Who are you?" He hesitated. "My name is Obina." Ekenma didn't believe him fully, but she didn't push. She only pointed at his side. "You're bleeding." "It's not serious," he said, but his face said otherwise. Ekenma sighed. "Follow me." Ekenma had been living with pain for years, so she recognized it quickly in others. She was once a happy child. Her mother's laughter used to fill their small home, and her father would carry her on his shoulders, calling her his little light. But sickness came like a thief. First her mother grew weak, then her father. In 1 year, Ekenma became an orphan. After the burial, she was taken in by her stepmother, Madame Ada, who had married her father after her mother died. At first, Ekenma hoped she would find love again. But Madame Ada treated her like a burden that refused to leave.
"Useless girl.
"Useless girl,"
Before you eat,
she
you
shouted
must
every
suffer."
morning. "If you eat in this house, you must suffer." Ekenma worked like someone twice her age. She swept the compound, fetched water, cooked, washed clothes, and worked on the farm. Yet no matter what she did, Madame Ada never smiled at her. And Madame Ada's daughter, Ngozi, was the opposite of Ekenma. Ngozi ate well, slept well, and dressed well. She spent her time admiring herself and laughing at Ekenma. "You're just a charity case," Ngozi would say. "Nobody will ever love you." Ekenma never fought them. Not because she was weak, but because she was tired. She carried her sadness quietly, like a load on her head. Some days she cried at night when everyone slept. Other days she stared at the sky and wondered why life was so unfair. But even with all the pain, Ekenma's heart stayed soft. That was her gift. And also, her danger. Ekenma led the wounded man to a small abandoned hut near the stream. Hunters sometimes rested there during the day, but at night it was empty. Inside it smelled of dry wood and old smoke. Ekenma placed her pot down and tore a strip from her wrapper. She dipped it in water and cleaned the blood. The man watched her closely. "Why are you helping me?" he asked. Ekenma didn't look up. "Because you're hurt, but you don't know me." She tied the cloth around his wound. "I don't need to know you to do what is right." The man went quiet for a moment. Then he said softly, "Not many people are like you." Ekenma gave a small laugh without joy. "People have not been like me either." He studied her face like he wanted to understand her story. "Who are you?" "Just Ekenma," she said. "A girl who fetches water and tries to survive." The man's eyes softened. "You deserve better than survival." Ekenma wanted to reply, but voices sounded far away again. "Spread out. Search everywhere." The man stiffened. Ekenma stood up. "Stay here till morning. When it's bright, you can leave through the back path." He reached out, touching her hand lightly. "If I live through this, I will not forget you." Ekenma pulled her hand back quickly. Life had taught her not to trust promises. She picked up her pot and hurried home before dawn. Madame Ada was waiting. She stood in the compound with folded arms, her face hard. "Where have you been?" Ekenma bowed slightly. "I went to fetch water." Madame Ada's eyes narrowed. "You think I'm foolish? It's almost morning." Ekenma searched for a safe lie. The stream was crowded. People. Slap. Madame Ada's palm landed on her face so hard her ears rang. Ngozi stood by the door, smiling like she enjoyed it. Madame Ada raised a cane. "Kneel." Ekenma knelt. The cane landed again and again. Ekenma bit her lip to stop herself from crying out. Tears rolled down her cheeks silently. When Madame Ada was done, she leaned close. "If you ever leave this house at night again, I will send you away with nothing. Do you hear me?" Ekenma nodded. "Yes." That night, she lay on her mat, her back burning, her heart heavy. She wondered if kindness was only for foolish people, but somewhere inside, she still felt that small light, because she had saved a life. 2 days later, palace messengers arrived in Umuaku. They gathered people in the market square and announced, "The palace will hold a festival to honor kindness. Any young woman known for kindness to strangers will be invited. The prince himself will choose who to reward." The village exploded with gossip. "Kindness festival," women repeated. "What is that one again?" Madame Ada's eyes shone. She grabbed Ngozi's arm. "You will go. This is your chance." Ngozi smiled proudly. "Of course, the prince will notice me." Back at home, Madame Ada dressed Ngozi in her finest wrapper, added beads to her hair, and rubbed oil on her skin until she shone. Then she turned to Ekenma. "You will stay here and work. If you even try to step out, I will deal with you." Ekenma nodded quietly, but her heart was beating fast, because deep inside she knew that festival had something to do with the stranger. On the day of the festival, Madame Ada and Ngozi left early. Ekenma stayed behind, sweeping. The compound was quiet. Then footsteps entered. Ekenma looked up and saw a palace messenger standing at the gate. He cleared his throat. "Is Ekenma here?" Ekenma froze. "Me?" "Yes," he said. "Ekenma, daughter of late Okorie." Ekenma's broom slipped from her hand. "You are invited to the palace," the messenger announced. "The prince asked for you by name." Ekenma's legs felt weak. "By name?" The messenger nodded. "Yes, prepare yourself." Ekenma didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Her hands shook as she tied her wrapper properly and followed him. The palace was bigger than anything Ekenma had seen. The courtyard was filled with people, drums, and chiefs.